Learning Claude Code in 2026 is one of the most valuable skill sets you can have, but it's also a fast track to burning hundreds of dollars on tokens and shipping absolutely nothing. Over the past 8 years, I've generated over $25 million in revenue for my clients through automation. And since Claude Code was released, I've been building with it every single day. And in that time, I've watched dozens of YouTube videos on this exact topic, and almost all of them are setting you up to fail. You see, 90% of the videos out there are selling you the same fantasy. Watch me build a 500K SaaS in a weekend with Claude Code, or the 4-hour build and sell this course to print 30K a month. But most people watching those videos can't even ship a working app, let alone a SaaS that actually makes money. So in this video, I'll show you why almost every Claude Code tutorial on YouTube is setting you up to fail. Then I'll walk you through the real timeline of learning Claude Code, the mistakes that are quietly draining your tokens, and the 2026 features almost nobody's using yet. And if you stick to the end, I'll give you one of the most exclusive resources you can get to learn Claude Code by actually using Claude Code, all for free. So let me start with the real reason Claude Code keeps falling apart on you. I'm going to assume you've been using Claude Code for a few days, a few weeks now, and if you're brand new, don't worry, this video is going to be super useful for you. You're impressed, but thing is, you're also losing your mind. Claude has this habit of going from senior engineer to absolute idiot in the middle of a session. You see, most people blame the model. They tweet about it, they downgrade their plan, and they wait for the next release. And honestly, you can't even blame them, because 90% of the tutorials out there, they just skip the basics and jump straight into the fancy commands and these big builds. They tell you to install Claude Code, type a prompt, and then call it a tutorial. You see, most of these guys have never used Claude Code on real client work. They're content creators chasing views, filming clean demos on clean repos, and selling a fantasy of a 30K SaaS build in a weekend. So what's actually going on is this. When you open a fresh Claude Code session, it knows nothing. It doesn't know your project, your business, or what you're trying to build. The thing it's missing is context. And context isn't a list of preferences in a settings file. Context is the data spine of your business. It's your tech stack, it's how your files are structured, it's your customer, it's your offer, it's your team. This is everything Claude needs to behave like the senior engineer it actually is, instead of a stranger you just bumped into at a coffee shop. And without that spine, Claude is going to behave the exact same way for you as it does for the other 18 million people using it right now. And it's worse than you think, because Claude Code isn't a chatbot like the regular Claude in your browser. It's a fully autonomous agent with full access to your computer. It can read your files, it can rewrite them, it can run commands in your terminal, and it can even modify your database, and all of that without asking permission the second you turn on the wrong setting. You see, a lot of people turn on the bypass all permissions because they're too lazy to learn how Claude Code actually works. They flip it on, type a prompt, and let Claude touch whatever it wants on the machine. And that's how you end up with getting files deleted, code getting rewritten, and entire folders going missing without you ever approving any of it. And every one of these problems is fixable, and there are 3 specific places where most people screw up. And once you stop making these mistakes, Claude Code stops ignoring you and starts working the way you actually want it to. So before we get to the mistakes, let me show you the real timeline of learning Claude Code so you can see exactly where you are right now. So week 1 is the best week of your life with Claude Code. You write prompts, code starts flying across your screen, you ship features faster than anything you've ever used before, and you feel like you've found a cheat code. And then week 2 is when reality starts hitting. You go back to add a feature to something you built last week, and Claude breaks half of it. And so you end up spending hours debugging Claude's own mistakes instead of building anything new. And you write the same prompt 5 times because it won't fix the one bug you actually asked about. And you start fantasizing about smashing your keyboard through your laptop screen. And trust me, I've been there too. Week 3 is when reality hits your wallet. If you're on a pro subscription, you're probably hitting your weekly limits in 2 to 3 days. And even max users are running out faster than they expected. And most of these tokens are going towards Claude debugging Claude's own mess. By week 4, most people quit or give up or take a step back because they see people online hyping up a Cursor or Codex and they jump onto the next shiny tool. They tell themselves Claude Code was just overhyped. And the few people who push past week 4 are the ones who actually build real applications with it. And the difference between them and everyone else isn't talent. They figured out the 3 specific mistakes everyone makes in those first few weeks. And then they just stop doing them. So let me walk you through those right now. So mistake number 1 is treating Claude Code like a chatbot, not an agent. You give commands like fix the bug or change the color of the button. And that's how you talk to ChatGPT. It's not how you talk to an autonomous agent that has the keys to your whole code base. So when you give Claude Code a vague prompt, it has no choice but to guess. And every guess is a chance to break something that was working yesterday. So treat Claude Code like a junior engineer who needs full detail. Tell it the exact file path, tell it what to do, what not to do, and what the expected behavior looks like when it's done. This is also why a Claude MD file matters so damn much. It's a file in your project root that Claude reads automatically every session. So you write your tech stack, your conventions, the things you don't want Claude to touch, and you do it once and Claude follows it forever. It's something that you're continuously updating. And there's one feature most YouTubers haven't even shown you yet, and it's called plan mode. You hit Shift Tab inside of Claude Code and you flip it into a mode where it can't touch a single file. It has to plan first. So it reads your code base, lays out what it's going to do, and shows you the file paths and waits for your approval before touching anything. And that single keystroke would have prevented 80% of the disasters in the comment section of every Claude Code ruined my project video. And if you're treating Claude Code like a chatbot, plan mode is your seatbelt. Mistake number 2 is accepting whatever Claude spits out first. You see, Claude generates 500 lines of code and most people don't even scan it. Now, a lot of you watching this are coming from a non-coding background like myself, so you just hit accept and move on. And this is the trap that's irritating most Claude Code users right now. You see, tests passing doesn't mean the code is correct, it just means that the tests pass. And those are different things. Claude's first answer is a draft, so just treat it like one. And the dev community calls this vibe coding, and you vibe with the AI, you accept whatever it spits out, you ship it, and you just kind of pray that it doesn't break in production. And even if you don't fully understand the code, you can catch the obvious stuff. You can look at what files it touched, look at what it deleted, and ask why. Don't take the first answer, because the real magic happens when you give it a bit of pushback. So you can ask things like, well, what if the user is null here? What if the input is the wrong format? Show me the edge cases that you didn't handle, right? These are all good questions to ask. And the thing I actually love about Claude is that it gets sharper every time you challenge it. So the back and forth is where the quality lives. Most people are skipping that part entirely. Okay, this is the one nobody talks about, and it's costing you the most money. Every message you send resends the entire conversation history. So your first prompt might be 2,000 tokens, but by message 50, every prompt is costing you 5 to 10 times what your first one did. And that's where your tokens are disappearing. Claude is just rereading the entire history of your chat. Most YouTubers will tell you to run the command compact and call it solved. Well, it's not, because compact replaces your full session with a brief summary. You lose the file paths, the line numbers, and the exact decisions that you made along the way. Claude actually gets dumber, not lighter. It's a band-aid for not wanting to start fresh. And the real fix is simpler. 1 goal per session. When you're done with that goal, commit your work and then run the command /clear and start a new session. Fresh sessions are almost free. Bloated sessions cost you tokens and quality. So while we're on the subject of tokens, let me show you something almost nobody is talking about, and it's the token optimizer that you can find on GitHub. It's a free tool that audits your Claude Code setup and shows you exactly where your context is leaking. It scans your Claude MD file, your hooks, your skills, your MCP servers, your output styles, and it surfaces the ghost tokens, the thousands of tokens that get injected into every single prompt before you've typed a single word. And I ran it on my own setup. I'm now saving 14% of my context window on every single session and 15 to 20 million tokens a month just from changing my default settings. See, most people are running the same kind of bloated config and have absolutely no idea. So combine the token optimizer with 1 goal per session and your max subscription suddenly stops feeling like a pro plan. I'm gonna put the link for the token optimizer in the description below if you wanna check it out. But knowing these 3 mistakes is only half the battle. The other half is actually setting up Claude Code the right way the first time. That's why I built the Claude Code Blueprint for this exact reason, completely for free. It's an interactive course that runs inside of Claude Code itself. So you learn and implement at the same time. So you basically install Claude Code, you open up the folder that I send you, you type in start lesson 1, and Claude Code itself walks you through every single step. And by the end, you'll have Claude Code installed, configured, and shipping all within 60 minutes. And it's completely free. So click the first link in the description below to download the files immediately today. And one thing though that I will say, I said this in my newsletter this week, 90% of you watching this are gonna close the tab and do absolutely nothing with it. And the 10% who actually run lesson 1 tonight are the ones with real apps a month from now. So I want you to be in that 10%. So that's it. Drop me a comment below. Let me know what you're planning to build. And that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.